Okay, so you may be wondering, how do we know all of this? Well, we were in your shoes not too long ago. Our oldest daughter, Julia, started having seizures when she was 8 years old. And at first, these seizures seemed to come out of the blue. Mike and I honestly had no idea what caused them to start. After all of the MRIs and EEGs and CAT scans, there was no specific physical cause that the doctors could tell us for her seizures. In fact, we were told by numerous pediatric neurologists that these things sometimes just show up in children, like between the ages of 7 and 11, or that it can be genetic. And I don't know, just something about this explanation totally didn't settle with me. You see, in my heart, I knew there was something more that had to be going on. Of course, hindsight is always 20/20, so looking back, I can clearly see how so many factors of Julia's life at that time caused her to have both physical and emotional stress. She was our firstborn, and she pushed herself to be a high achiever in school. She followed in both Mike and I's steps. She was on a competitive gymnastics team and cheerleading squad, and she was taking piano lessons. And she was just, I don't know, really wound tight and had intense emotional reactions to things, especially if they didn't go as she expected. Julia reached the proverbial edge of a cliff, if you will, after a 3-day camping weekend in April, when she had her first seizure. That weekend, she had a lot of lack of sleep, tons of junk food, a major adrenaline rush from a bungee ride that they were on, and really it was a factor of 8 years of lifestyle patterns causing stress to pile up. Finally, her body had just had enough. And then to top it off, for the next 4 days while she was hospitalized, she had one seizure each day. And it always happened when doctors were on rounds and would come in to check on her. Something deep inside me knew it was related to the emotion she was feeling when they would come in, because something always triggered it, and yet her emotions couldn't be measured by the EEG or the MRI. The next 4 months were the scariest and most difficult times of our life. Julia continued to have seizures, sometimes as many as 10 or 15 in a day, and she ended up taking 4 different seizure medications simultaneously to try to get them to stop. And during this time, Mike also had his health under attack.
Yeah, so I mean, I like to jump in here and just, give you a little background about my personal story here. I was a trader down at the Board of Trade for, 17 years, and needless to say, I wasn't living the healthiest lifestyle. But one night, my entire life changed. I was on a boys' weekend. It was a golfing weekend up in Door County, Wisconsin, and I was on the third night of just a bender weekend. I don't know what else to really call it. And I'm at the bar. It's about 3 o'clock in the morning. And out of the blue, the whole left side of my body goes completely numb. And I lose all bodily control. So, I was literally holding a drink in my left hand, and it started flying all over the place, getting all over the bar. I couldn't control myself. I didn't know what was going on. I thought I was having a heart attack. I thought I was having a stroke. I didn't know if I should go to the emergency room. But, that point in my life was just a major turner, and it just spilled over into every day going forward. So, for example, like for the next 12 months, there were times when I'd be sitting at work in my office trading in front of the computer, and I'd start freaking out so bad that there was, that I had to get up out of my desk. I had to go to the elevator, take 14 flights down, and I'd walk around the block 100 times just breathing in and out till I got up, till I was back to a point where I actually could go back up to my office and continue my work. And this is brutal. I ended up in the emergency room and so forth, emergency room a couple times. I forget how many times, but it was really rough on me. And, but that night, and this went on for like 12 months, I should say. And, for 12 months, I've exhausted all Western medicine options, I guess, and nothing was coming to it. And then there was literally one point in my life where everything changed. And it's at the end of this 12 months, I'm looking in the mirror, and I said to myself, I just can't live this way. And then, we went from there.
Yeah, and really, it was a compounding effect. So Mike's situation kind of started before, then Julia's compounded with her seizures. And the last straw was I was suffering from an autoimmune condition called Hashimoto's thyroiditis that had been diagnosed during my 4th pregnancy. And I was trying to manage it, working with functional medicine doctors and taking a whole bunch of supplements and all sorts of stuff. And really, during all of the stress of Mike's multiple ER trips and Julia's daily seizures, I totally went off the charts. My count, 2 different doctors said I've never seen an autoimmune count this high for your autoimmune condition. So really, we just were a mess. As a family, we were totally, completely at wit's end.
That's such an understatement.
Totally an understatement. We were full of guilt. We were full of blame. We felt completely powerless. And then one phone call forever changed our lives. A friend had referred us to a nutritionist, and it was kind of the first step. It's kind of ironic because I was in nutrition and followed a lot of organic and eating healthy and a lot of really thoughtful choices about nutrition already. So I was kind of surprised originally, and yet that was the catalyst to learn about the importance of the internal environment and really understanding how over time we could help Julia's body heal. And that was really our focus, was just Julia. And what we discovered is that one phone call opened up a doorway, a possibility for all of us. We had, like I said, no expectation. We were really going in with the thought of focusing our efforts on healing Julia's seizures. And little did we know that not only would her seizures completely heal, she came off of all 4 medications and has been symptom-free ever since. Mike's anxiety cleared up, my autoimmune condition. Mike, you even healed from lifelong allergies that you had since you were a kid.
Yeah, since I was born, literally.
And another side benefit of all of this is that the exact steps I'm going to show you also cleared up our other daughter, Avery's eczema. She had eczema for a number of years, and Mike lost over 30 pounds. And really, we're all happier and healthier and more connected as a family than we ever even thought possible before this. And we did this by working with experts to shift important parts of our lives that change our body's internal environment. And none of this would have been possible if we didn't decide to schedule that first phone call.